New York Giants.
Yeah, Giants are an interesting one. They obviously paid a handful of players, most notably Daniel Jones. Internally, you give the franchise tag to Saquon Barkley. You still do go out and make that splash trade for Darren Waller at tight end, which I think gives him a very interesting combo with Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger, that's the baseball player. Whatever first name Bellinger is on the New York Giants. And that's the Cubs fan of me speaking. And Darren Waller, like they have a lot of interesting pieces there. But there's something that leaves to be desired. Like the secondary has some question marks outside of Adoree Jackson. The offensive line still, to me, is kind of Andrew Thomas and a handful of question marks. We'll obviously see if we get growth from young players, top 10 picks in the last couple of years. But yeah, like they're going to regress a bit in some areas from last year. And again, I think they're a playoff-ish team, a wild card-ish team. I'm just not sure if. I don't know. I would have franchise tagged Daniel Jones and saw what we had. Now they're kind of pot committed.
Yeah, I agree. I love the Darren Waller trade. That's probably my favorite move they made this offseason. I understand the risk attached to him, but I think given where they are, it's a risk well worth taking. I'm with you. I think Daniel Jones was tailor-made for a franchise tag. It's exactly the reason it exists, right? It's like we don't quite know. Let's give this guy a franchise tag. Let's see how it goes and deal with it down the line. They didn't. They went a different route to give them more spending flexibility, I guess. But it's not like they pumped that money into a bunch of places where you're like, okay, I understand why you wanted all that flexibility. And then it comes down to the draft. I think they did have a good draft. They were another team that their first two picks unfolded in a way where their second rounder was the player that a lot of people were giving them in the first round. John Michael Schmitz, the center from Minnesota. If they'd taken him in the 20s, nobody would have had a problem with it. It would have been fine. Instead, they get him in the second round, so that can only look like great value. Deonte Banks, the corner in the first round, exactly the right type of player for this defensive system, a guy that specializes in man coverage, mirror skills off the line, movement, all that kind of stuff. Jalen Hyatt, the Tennessee wide receiver in the third, is a fascinating player to add. Just the deep speed, the big playability, but a guy that hasn't really done it outside of being in the slot off the line of scrimmage. So it's really going to come down to what those three guys primarily can do for this team in the first couple of years.
I do love Deonte Banks, so I guess I shouldn't have said question marks besides Adoree Jackson. Yes, he's a rookie, but I think he's going to be a stud. And like you said, I think all three of their first picks probably got mocked in the first round to them at various times throughout the offseason by various outlets. But the big thing for me is in a Wink Martindale defense as well, you have one edge rusher that I have a modicum of faith in Kayvon Thibodeau. I like Azeez Ojulari. He can't really stay healthy. O'Shane Ximenez can't really stay healthy. Like, you need when he wants to blitz 60%, that's too high. Whatever. When he wants to blitz as often as he does, like you got to rotate bodies, and they, the interior is great, obviously, but they need more on the edge as well.
Yeah, it's not dramatically too high for Wink Martindale. Like that's in the kind of ballpark. So overall, we gave the New York Giants an A for the offseason, a B for their free agency, an A+ for their draft. One of the best grades of anybody. Well, tied for the best grade of anybody.